Talking with the experts.
How true that is. A lot of businesses forget that everyone in their business is actually part of sales. They're not necessarily selling, but every single part, be it the person who owns at the front desk, the person who packages the product for delivery, be it your website, be it your accounts, let alone the person doing the sale, are all part of the chain. Unfortunately, too many businesses focus on the product and say the person who's selling it, and then don't focus on the rest of it. So you could have the most gun salesperson, the most brilliant product, but if your pre-sales or after-sales service or your website isn't up to scratch, you're wasting your time. And so businesses just do not look at all the important parts that they need to ensure that they don't lose a customer.
Talking with the experts.
Hello and welcome to Talking with the Experts. My name's Rose Davidson from rosesdavidson.com, and Talking with the Experts is about all things business by business owners for business owners, and you can find it on all good podcasting streaming platforms and on YouTube. And if you feel like it, you could go and press the subscribe and hit the bell and watch the videos on there. Today, my guest is Rob Elliott, and Rob is my second Australian guest today, which is a bit of a bonus. And Rob was brought up in the family hospitality business, and it exposed him to sales and the importance of community at an early age. And he watched his parents navigate difficult customers, the expectations of people, and run a business. It gave him a lifelong tools that he has adapted for today's market. Rob has worked for some of Australia's largest companies across varied markets and now hosts his own podcast, Real Journeys of Success, where he interviews real people about how they succeeded in life and business, and is a sales and business coach and an active Rotarian. Well, we've got a few things in common. I used to be a Rotarian.
Yep.
And his mantra is just be you. Ooh, yeah. You won't get it any more me than me.
That's what I love to hear.
Welcome, Rob, and thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, that's absolutely awesome to be invited onto your show. Now it's rocketing up the charts.
It is getting there. Yeah, I was really surprised when I opened it up today. And we were going to talk about the sales chain today, we thought.
Yeah.
And about, sales in general. And can you just explain to our audience, please, Rob, what a sales chain is? Because I don't think a lot of business owners actually know what that means.
Oh, look how true that is. A lot of businesses forget that everyone in their business is actually part of sales. They're not necessarily selling, but every single part, be it the person who owns at the front desk, the person who packages the product for delivery, be it your website, be it your accounts, let alone the person doing the sale, are all part of the chain. Unfortunately, too many businesses focus on the product and say the person who's selling it, and then don't focus on the rest of it. So you could have the most gun salesperson, the most brilliant product, but if your pre-sales or after-sales service or your website isn't up to scratch, you're wasting your time. And so businesses just do not look at all the important parts that they need to ensure that they don't lose a customer and they keep selling.
Yep, absolutely. Bad customer service or bad after-sales service is one of the things that can actually ruin your business.
Yes, how true. I was speaking to a lady who teaches in Monaco, and she was talking to the head of a major restaurant franchise, and they spend millions on their restaurants. They're developing them, all the signage, how everything down to, and it can all be ruined by a waiter or a waitress who's come in and had a bad day. And all that investment's out the door.
Absolutely. It only takes one bad apple, really, or just one person having a bad day.
How true, how very true.
And we all have them, which is unfortunate, which, it's part of the human condition, but,
It is.
Customers aren't as forgiving.
No, they're not
Unfortunately.
forgiving at all, are they?
No. So tell me about your sales journey from your childhood, what from learning from your parents. What did you actually learn from them?
Oh, Shivers, you know what? I never realised actually how much I learnt till later. But growing up in a business, like everyone knows, pubs in Australia are notoriously hard. They're a tough business, doesn't matter which part, unforgiving customers, unforgiving and unreliable staff many of the times. And mum and dad were chalk and cheese. Dad was an ex-electrician, big jovial man with a beautiful heart, and it took a lot to get him going. Mum was the opposite, black and white, straight as it came, and she ruled the roost, the back office. And they worked off each other brilliantly. My father had the ability, and this is anyone can do this, to make whoever walked in the bar feel as though they were the most important person in the whole pub. They made them feel welcome. And I got the privilege to watch. And I left, I was, I think, 5 when we first went into pubs and about 25 when we finished up after my mum passed away. And mum was ruthless. Everything had to be clean. Everything had to be spotless. And she had the 3-touch rule. And it's something that businesses can use today. When they come in, after you've served them once, you remember what they ordered. After they come in the second time, you remember their name. The third time you walk up, you say, "Hi, Joanne, would you like a glass of wine with that?" All of a sudden, you've won them. Mm. And that 3-touch rule goes in any business. If you've got a regular customer, regular clientele, working out what they want, finding their name, and just grabbing that little bit of them makes them feel so welcome. Price will never come into it. So after that, it was pretty rough. I learned how to throw someone out of a pub without putting your hand on them. It was all called bluff. But again, it's a sales technique, especially when you're on by yourself and the guy's bigger than you, stronger than you. It's you got to be able to trust yourself. And look, after that, I went in with my father and his partner. They had a bottle shop. I looked at that and I became a ping pong ball between 2 best mates who never should have gone into business together. 2 different versions of sales between them. And I ended up leaving, going to the wholesale industry, and I worked for broad range wholesalers and liquor. That's where I got my first actual manager's job. I worked for a major brewery, liquor, spirits, the whole lot. Absolutely loved it. And before I finished up in the liquor industry, I had the privilege to work for Guinness Australasia, which was amazing. And 3.5 years, and I still call it the best job I ever had. We only had a small sales team in every state. We worked incredibly hard, but we also partied hard, and they also rewarded us hard. They had a culture of a team. It was the first time I'd seen a pure team culture. We were all accountable. We all helped each other. When work was to be done, it was done. Then we celebrated, and they backed us like you wouldn't believe. And when it was separate to where they were now, it was an amazing place. And it's something I took on when I left, and I ended up in the industrial space, which is very, very tough. Running a sales team, industrial sales, they're ruthless. There's not a lot of them, they don't keep their word, I'll put it to you honestly, and they use lots of adjectives. I got thrown in at the deep end to run a sales team. I got thrown in at the deep end of a major account someone else had won. I think it was 6 or 7 million a year. And within 6 months, that company was threatening to walk because they weren't delivering. And my boss turned around and said, "Here, it's your customer. You save it, you keep your job." Straight up.
Nice man.
Oh, he was actually. He really was. He helped me a lot, but it had come down. And, sometimes those things in life are meant to happen. You learn your best when you're in at the deep end.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, sometimes I take on these projects and I think, when I go in, I think, yeah, I can manage that. And then I get like 3 steps in, I think, oh my God, I'm over my head, but I keep plodding along and making sure that I get to the end and to the
when I'm coaching someone, if someone says to me they're feeling overwhelmed or they're feeling, I've just taken on this big project, where do I start? I just look at them with a funny face and go, how do you eat an elephant? And they go, what do you mean? I said,
Little
how do
bit
you
at a
eat an
time.
elephant? One bit at a time. I said, so break the project down. It's no different than running a business. Break your project down, break your business down. One bit at a time, attack one bit at a time, and you'll come out of it on top.
Absolutely. I agree. You're a man after my own heart. So there we go.
Great to hear.
You're smooth to beer. So I guess that sort of leads on to where, and we're talking about the sales chain and how each individual in the business is responsible for the sales, whether they're with the front office staff, the actual salesperson at the counter, or someone, sharpens the pencils out the back. They're all responsible in the sales chain. But what happens if that chain gets broken, or how can it get broken?
Look, I've seen it broken many times. It can be as simple as the lady who does the accounts for someone who deals with regular customers being rude or not processing on time. That's debits and credits. It can be not looking after the guy in the warehouse that's packing all day in 30-degree heat. And if he sends that box out and it's just terrible writing on it, they haven't taken the care about packaging it. So what I say to people is, look, take a step back from your business. It's the same with your website. Take a step back and pretend to be a customer. Or ring customers and ask them, what do you like and what do you think we can improve? Remember, I didn't say not what you don't like. Ask them what we can improve in our process, especially long-term customers. And they'll tell you. And that actually, you benefit from it. So if you go down and you follow the chain, and every department is a link in the chain. So be it your website, be it the front, if you're a retail store, the outside of your store, be it your staff, be it your packaging, you write it all down and then review each part. And if you can't, you write down, as I say, where would you like that to be in 12 months? Every single part of your business. It can be 3 parts, it can be 10. Where is it now? You got to be honest, both say, some parts be good, some parts be bad. Where is it now? And they'll go, right, so what needs to improve to get to where you want to be in 12 months? And they go, well, I've got to do this, to this, to this. And I say, so what do you need to change to get that improvement to be where you want in 12 months? See the process of a chain, all working along the chain? And they go, oh. And then I say to them, and what would it mean to you to be there? Now, yes, when I do it with a company or someone's private business, there are lots and lots of questions I ask, and I poke. And I really poke until I get the answer that is deep inside, because people have pride and they think by admitting they're wrong or they've done something, their business it's hurting them. But no, it's the opposite. The best owners, the best managers put their hand up and say, you know what, I need help here, I need help there.
Absolutely. I agree with that. Yeah. And a lot of business owners do not take that road.
No.
They think that they're not doing anything wrong and it's everyone else's fault.
Yes.
And they will not sit and self-criticize.
I believe in 100% accountability. So as a team wins, everyone wins. If you don't win, let's all look at it and see where we could have done better.
Absolutely. And
Navy SEALs live and die by that.
There's no such thing as failure anyway. Failure is only an opportunity to learn. It's only a mistake that's been made along the trail. And, you can't fail if you're willing to find what it is that you can do better to move on.
Oh, look, 100%. And I look at some businesses and I say, so who's your biggest competitor? And they go, oh, so-and-so up the road or whatever. Is he better in this industry, you, or you better than him? Oh, no, he's getting more sales than me. I say, so what's he doing that you're not? And I say it with a dead straight face. And you've got to be willing to pull the Band-Aid off.
That's it.
And what does, in Australia especially, and you would see this in your business, why people don't have a coach. Coaches aren't there to tell you what to do. Coaches are there to bring out the best answers out of you, because most people know their business better than anybody. You can bring a coach in, which is very different to a mentor, which is very different to an advisor. And you can say, look, I want 6 weeks, or I want 6 months, or I want 2 days, because I've got a specific problem. And I can tell you what, all the best business people in the world and the best companies in the world have coaches hidden in their business that are there to pull the Band-Aid off and there to help them get, better at what they do.
Absolutely. Yeah. Business owners, I guess, especially now in the current economic climate, really have to be prepared to take that Band-Aid off and look how they can do things either differently or better, so that, no one's without work.
No.
And sometimes you don't need to really close your business. You just need to look at a different way of managing your business so that you can still stay viable.
Oh, look, this COVID challenge that the whole world's going through at all different levels is a massive opportunity for businesses to sit back and have a good look at themselves. Yes, it's very challenging. And yes, there's a lot of businesses that won't come out of this. And there will be people, unfortunately, that will lose a lot. A lot of the time, it's because they didn't keep up, they didn't change. I mean, not every time. Sometimes circumstances just prevail and, you can't do much about that. But a good, solid business, if they're not looking at what they're doing and totally putting a mirror up to their business now, they're selling themselves short, because tell you what, your competitor is.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the services that I offer is videos, like promotional videos for your business. And honestly, a lot of people aren't utilising that.
No.
Because, to me, it's ludicrous. And not because I want more sales, but the point being is that if you get out on a video on social media, people are going to know who you are straight away. This old-fashioned networking thing just doesn't work anymore. It's just because you can't have in person all the time. And a lot of people won't do online networking because they just think they feel silly, but it's way it is. Everything's going to be hybrid from now on, and it's not going to be the same. We're not going to go back to how we used to be.
Look, you've got to be able to pivot. You've got to be able to change. I mean,
that horrible word. I hate that word.
I know, but I wish there was a different one.
Yeah, there isn't though, is there?
No. When you're talking about making videos and that, I've just finished the first draft of my book, and I thought I was getting along, and I kept going back around to social media and that. And I thought, look, I'll just put a small chapter in about social media. It's one of the biggest chapters because I start writing, all the different things, what you do, what your business is, all of that. And by the time you start getting into it, and it's based for people who, are just starting out in the business of sales. And all of a sudden I've looked at the pages and gone, oh dear, I've just kept writing. But how true are you?
Yeah. Social media is, as much as we love it, it's a hateful beast at the same time. But
it is.
But I don't think you can do without it now.
Oh, look, one video, well made, goes across multiple channels, cut it up many times.
Yeah.
If you're providing value, you're never selling it. If you do it right, you should never sell on video, because what you're doing is selling. But you can generate so much, especially if business has never been on.
Yeah, you can. One of the fellows that I in his Facebook group, he just does videos, and he says that you can break one video up into 20 bits of content.
Yes. Yep.
Absolutely. And he has this process, and I was really gobsmacked by that you could get 20 bits of content out of one 30-second piece of video. It was amazing.
Gary Vaynerchuk in America swears by
Gary V, he's amazing.
He is. Gary Vee does it. A whole heap of the rest of them do it. And they take one video and then cut it up, and they just keep replaying bits and pieces of it all year.
Yeah.
And yes, he's got probably a very big team that does it for him. But, these days, you and I know that if someone's starting out, you can do it yourself. You can use Filmora. You can use so many things, self-teach, to get yourself going. And I always say to people about social media, if you don't know anything about it, try it, use it, and then hire somebody, because you've got to know what you're doing before you hire someone, so you know that they're doing the right job for you.
Absolutely.
And I can see the look on your face. I'm sure that you've gone in and rescued a few businesses when they've been spent big money and haven't got the results they wanted.
Yeah. And I mean, I only charge a pittance to what they're being charged previously. So.
Dearie me. Yeah, but you're probably worth more.
Maybe. We'll see. Anyway, I could talk to you all day. You're just an absolute delight. I could just keep chatting and chatting and chatting.
Thank you so much.
Tell me what your book's about, other than sales. You got a working title for it?
Yeah,
Yet?
it's actually called The Sales Chain,
Yep.
and tips and tools for people beginning in the business of sales.
Mm-hmm.
What I found out was when I was talking to people that there's not a basic book, small, that just tells people what's niching, what's flipping, how to structure their day, all different bits and pieces. And I was writing it, and then COVID hit, and then I went, oh look, I've just got to get this done. And so I've asked, I've written the first draft, which is about 14 chapters, but they're short and sharp. Because salespeople, as you know, we have a very short attention span. We don't like paperwork. We don't like admin.
Right.
I'm being honest. So what I've done is I've done it so it's bite size. And then I've also spoken to a lot of my friends from around the world and in Australia, and I've got people in different genres, like one's a venture capitalist, one's a real estate agent, one's financial sales, and they're all writing a chapter. It's looking at sales from their eyes, because everyone sees things different. But I tell you what, it doesn't matter if I'm interviewing them or when I speak to them, pretty much the basics of all of it is the same.
Yeah.
And so I just want to help people to be able to, really just do the job and love it. And so we're hoping to have that out in November, and with a bit of luck, and my editor, which is my wife, going through it, because she's incredibly good at that type of thing. So and working through it, that'll be a lot of fun, and I'll make sure you get a copy.
Oh, thanks. Self-published, or you're going to put it on Amazon?
It'll be on Amazon. It'll be on all the digitals, and you order it and they print to that.
Yep.
And I spoke to a lady who released a book, and it sat and just then all of a sudden one person picked it up somewhere overseas, and it just went boom.
Oh, well done.
So it's I'm looking forward to it. My first dabble into writing.
Yeah, I've written a draft. I've written my draft as well for new entrepreneurs, but
what's stopping you?
Oh, well, I don't know really. I just can't find anyone to look at it. It's the thing. That's the finding an editor to look at it and say, oh no, that chapter should be somewhere else, or something like that.
Oh, there's plenty of There's plenty of Australian publishers out there that part of their fee is to read through it. Yeah. I encourage anyone just to have a go.
I will eventually. Yeah.
So just do
it. I mean, it's finished. I just need to get it out there and to be brave enough to get someone to read it.
You know what? I asked someone who's written 12 books, and I said, what do you do with when one of your books doesn't go well? And it's no different to someone's product not going well. He said, it just means that book hasn't found the right person to read it. It's the same with a product.
Yeah.
No different.
It is.
Find the right person for the product.
Well, and so tell me about your podcast. Where can we find that?
The Real Journeys of Success podcast. It's out on Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, Ghana, and YouTube. Mm-hmm. And they're all real people from around the world that have made a massive success. No, certainly not robots. What I mean by real people is they're not celebrities, but they've all excelled in what they've done. I mean, I've got a chef to the stars from LA. I've got a lady that teaches communication in southern France. I've got an ultra marathon runner. I've got someone like Adam Thompson from Chocolate Starfish on there. Wow. You name it. I have no problem with asking people to come on it. So I've got a wide range, and I just say, look, go on, have a look. There will be someone on there you'll like, and it's rough and it's unedited and it's exactly as it's recorded as it should be. And they're all real lovely people. And I've even got a private investigator from America. Some of the stories.
Yeah, I had one on there. Yeah, I had one on last year.
Yeah. So I've got some really, really great people. I think out of all of the, 35, 40 episodes, I've had only one. I've had one I've dumped, never got to air. Mm-hmm. And one lady was like a robot. And it took a long time to get me for her to relax and just answer the questions, not off the sheet of paper in front. You answer from the heart. But I got her there.
That's good.
But it's a lot of fun. It's something I do for fun. I love it because everyone's got a story.
They do. Absolutely. Yeah, that's what I started. Well, I started the podcast last July because I was just, not long into the pandemic, and a lot of business owners were struggling. And I thought, well, why don't I just get put my name on Matchmaker? So I'm looking for people to interview, and
So just for people
inundated.
knowing, Matchmaker is not Tinder for podcasters.
That's right. Well, it is. It is Tinder for podcasters.
In a different way.
In a different way. That's right. Yes. Yeah. So it's a funny name, but yeah, but it is a good platform. And
It is.
and I get inundated. Like I took a month off this year. I just took all of July this year off, and I'm already booked out for August. So
I keep recording. I'm a week behind in getting. I've got to get one up, but I've got to edit it because we had bad internet at the time. But I'm like you. I knock a lot back because they're just not a good fit. They're just there to flog a product.
Yes.
And like you, unless they're true and real people, I'm not going to have them on. So I probably knock back 2 for every one I put on my podcast.
Yeah, I've been very lucky. Most of mine are pretty genuine, but there's been a couple that didn't sit well with me. But yeah, I get podcast burnout because I do like 3 interviews a day most days, and I was doing them 5 days a week.
Oh,
and most of them were at 11 o'clock at night. So yeah,
my earliest is 4 a.m. in the morning when I'm doing out of America.
No, I'm still in Naughty Land at that time.
I'm an early riser, so it comes from being in the pubs.
That's it. All right, Rob. Where else can people find you?
You can find me at robelliott.com.au, Instagram Rob J Elliott, The Real Journeys of Success on Facebook, or Rob Elliott Business and Sales Coach. They're all around. You're not hard to find. Infamous. Some people say, but or famous, whichever way you want. But you will find me one way or the other. All the links are on the website. So.
All right. Yeah, I'll put them in the show notes when I get them out. But it's been such a pleasure to talk with you. If you've got any last words that you'd like to impart with our listeners and viewers today.
You know what? When it comes to sales, don't be scared. Just, run with it, take a breath. And the most important thing is, and I just tell everyone the same thing, just be you. Do not try and be anyone else. And everything else will just fall into place. Yeah,
absolutely. All right, Rob, thank you so much. We've got over time, and I know you've got someone else to go and talk to, so don't forget to say hello.
I will, no problem. Oh, look, hang on a minute, I'll look down. No, we're fine. We've still got 7 minutes.
All right. Well, I will talk to you again soon. You've been an absolute delight. I've really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much for having you on the show. It's been an absolute. It's just lovely to speak to someone who's full of bubbles like you are. It's fantastic.
Thanks, Rob.
It's made my day.
See you later.
See you later. Hey, you be safe down in Tassie.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.